So, boys, Neverender here, and as always, I have no voice. I haven't. I don't think I get sick during the winter too. So, a combination of going out a lot and then just always feeling like congested during the winter leads to me just like never having a voice ever. So I apologize if I sound a little shitty. We're still gonna make this video work because this is good shit we're gonna be talking about. Today we're going to be launching a new series. Well, I don't know. Who the fuck knows whether or not it's going to be a series. Maybe it's a series. Maybe it's not a series. I think I've said I was going to start a series like on 3 or 4 different occasions, and it just turned into be a one-time thing. But anyways, a potential series will be starting today called Surviving the Game, Long-Term Strategies to Get in the Girl of Your Dreams by yours truly. And today we're talking about whether or not to settle down with a girl. Not too many guys in game make it from that point where they start off being shitty with women to surviving the up and down crazy bullshit journey that is game to getting to a point where they're just awesome with girls. Not too many guys hit that point where the ideal girl, their dream girl, ever becomes a reality. And from talking with Braddock and other instructors and from my own personal experience, I think guys who fall off the map in game kind of break down into 3 categories. First category is guys who take their boot camp. They're really enthusiastic during their boot camp, and then they kind of like fizzle out. Like a week or 2 later, they just like the enthusiasm's gone. They don't really want to do the grind, and they just kind of disappear, and they just go back to their shitty lives. It's really important to understand when you get first getting started. Like there's a huge spike when you go from a guy who's terrified to talk to girls to a guy that can open a girl and get a good reaction. It's a huge like learning spike, but the rest of the game kind of becomes a grind after a while. I mean, you make small improvements, but anyways, we're not talking about that shit. Anyways, so that's the first guy, the guy who after like gets the first like gets that first little ego boost, gets that first like enthusiasm from boot camp, and then just disappears when he's not learning at such a rapid rate. The second guy is the guy who keeps going out after boot camp, but he's not as consistent. He flakes on a lot of nights. Maybe he only goes out once or twice a week. Sometimes he takes a whole week off. When he does go out, he's not consciously trying to grow. He's not learning new strategies to improve himself, or to he's not working on his inner game. He's not improving his life because he never because he's never proactive enough. He doesn't develop in a way where he makes any real progress. And the third kind of guy is the guy who goes out for a while and he starts to he's trying to grow and he's making improvements. But then like after maybe like 2 months, he meets a girl he likes, who gives him good emotions and who validates him. So he gets in a relationship with her, and then he just kind of falls off the map. And Braddock will tell you in a lot of cases that guy will be back in like 6 months to a year, taking another boot camp, and trying to get back in the game so he can get that next girlfriend. Today we're going to be focusing on the third guy, the guy who gets the first girlfriend he can basically find, and whether or not that is a good or a bad thing. Honestly, I think those guys who get into the relationships too quickly, they don't think about the long term. They're too focused on the short term, and it's kind of understandable. I mean, when I look into the first 3 or 4 months when I was in game, it was very, very tough. I mean, I wasn't getting really good results, obviously. Every night I'd get shot down a ton. My numbers would flake on me. Maybe if I was lucky, every once in a while I'd get a kiss close. You're enduring this grind of trying to get better, but you're not really sure whether or not you're making tons of progress or not. And after maybe 3 or 4 months, I got to a point where I was actually attracting some girls into my life, and I hooked up with 1 or 2 girls, and I remember the feeling of like, oh my god, yes, finally, when I finally hooked up with a couple of girls, who frankly now I would never be interested in, but like at that time it was so validating and so like rewarding to finally get with a girl. There was I could see there was a temptation there to get with to hook up with her, but what I kept not to hook up with her, to be in a long-term relationship with her. Well, what I kept in mind was that look, I went from on month 1 not even being able to say anything after an opener, to now actually being able to pull a couple of girls into my life, think about if I did this for like another year, what could I achieve? Where could I be? And I thought about like that dream girl who I always thought about having in my life. I thought I was moving closer to that reality. I was moving closer to, being on a level where I could get access to that girl and I could run a great interaction, and I would be, she'd be in my reality. I realized I was getting closer to it. So for you guys who are still pretty new, who are just beginning to taste success, who do have that girl in their lives now, who they're considering whether or not they should just full on date or if they should let her go. Before you think about anything else, just keep in mind that that you are in a really sensitive place emotionally right now because you've endured tons and tons of pain and frustration to get to this good point where you are now. But remember, there are more glories that await you if you continue on the road. Don't let those bad emotions from your past and the kind of sensitive place you are now dictate or compromise your long-term goals, that dream girl you've always thought about getting. Don't settle because if you finally get to experience good emotions with a girl. Another thing about thinking about the long term is you need to understand nothing fucking is a once in a lifetime thing. Nothing. I remember, I've met some amazing girls this year. Not all of them. I haven't gotten with all of them, but I've met, I've gotten with some, and I've met a bunch of them who are just holy shit. And after interacting with them, you think, damn it, I'm never gonna find a girl on this level ever again. Probably this girl is pretty freaking rare, but they're not really that rare. They're not it's in the same sense that there's no one girl that's really that rare. There's no one experience that's really that rare either. This year I had or last year I guess I had my first threesome. Probably 7 months in I had a threesome, which is pretty crazy. And I remember thinking afterwards, damn it, I peaked. That's it's not gonna be any more epic than that ever. And who knows if I'll ever have another threesome again. It's a pretty rare thing. Obviously, not so many guys can say they've done that. But on New Year's, I had another threesome over New Year's, and it served as an awesome reminder that there's no one experience that's never going to be able to be reoccurring. So it's awesome that you have good emotions with whatever girl you're seeing right now, and that there's a certain level of comfort, or there's some really positive aspects of that relationship. But it's really important to keep in mind that I'm telling you guys, over the long term, as long as you're continuing to grow and improve, which you of course will, there's going to just be more and more of those good experiences, and those new good experiences are going to be even better than the ones before. And that's unavoidable because you're simply right now you're still growing. I'm gonna be a better man a year from now than I am now, and I'm gonna be able to handle a relationship infinitely better a year from now than I will now. So with all that growth and all that new experience, it's only gonna make those times where you actually do settle down in a relationship even better. And there's still up and down. There's definitely gonna be times where you're gonna be you're going to let go of that one girl and have to go through some tons and tons of bullshit for the next 3 months before you meet some other cool girl. But, just keep in mind that even though it may feel like you're letting go of that girl and you're losing something, you're never giving up on anything. If you're letting go of that girl, you're not letting go of anything. You're not losing anything. You're just getting closer and closer to that dream girl. The girl who you've always wanted to be with, like this one. I would marry the shit out of this girl. But that's what you're moving towards. Alright, so we talked about, the fallbacks of, getting into a relationship when you're still just starting your journey, where you haven't really peaked, you're kind of compromising yourself and your long-term goals by getting into a relationship. Let's talk about, the long-term mindsets you need to have, though, in terms of where your head needs to be in order to be functional in a relationship, just really quickly. And I think, obviously you need to have, a social circle put together, a strong lifestyle put together, your businesses put together, so that when you bring a girl into your world, you're bringing her into, a positive ecosystem, one where both you guys feel like you can really grow. But let's talk about on an inner game level too, what kind of mindsets we need to have. I think you need to get to a point where you actually feel like you have the girl situation under control, so that if you lost this girl, you could go back out and you could find more girls. Like, there needs to be like a real level of abundance there. And then there's also needs to be a sense of like kind of like completion about who you are, like on an inner game level. I think you need to be at a point where you understand that you, like I said, there's no girl you need to make you happy. You're happy on your own. And you understand your own purpose in life outside of women, and you know where you're headed in life and what you want to achieve and your path and purpose, and you can stick to that path and purpose. And better yet, being in a relationship is going to help you along that path and purpose. Like, it's going to help move you forward. You're not using a girl as a crutch or a way to escape from the pain of the world, or someone you can just cuddle with instead of actually going and getting your shit done. This girl is, someone you're connected to who's going to help you along in your journey of life in a positive way, not in a way that's ever going to slow you down or cripple you or tempt you to be weak. And that's a really big idea. And it's going to take a long time, in most cases, to get there, to get to that point. So don't rush it. You guys are wrapping it all up anyways, because this video has gone on long enough. Yeah, take your time with that development, guys, and really appreciate the journey and all the cool experiences along the way. And with that said, have an awesome weekend. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you guys later.